Hey YouTube, it's Justin, aka Demonic Sweaters, here with another electronic drum video. Today I'm going to be talking about this vintage drum module, Roland TD-5, that I picked up on reverb.com. And this is a very old electronic drum module, dating all the way back to 1994. In fact, when I purchased it, I really didn't realize it was that old. I thought it was like somewhere in the mid-2000s or something like that. But yeah, 1994, this thing is 26 years old. And I have it hooked up here to my conversion kit. If you see my channel at all, you've seen me do this Club Jam flyer converted to electronic. And I was using an Alesis Nitro Mesh module, which I still have. But I picked this thing up at a really good price. It came with the box and the manual. You can find these things on reverb.com for very cheap. And I am very, very impressed with the sound quality of this drum module. I cannot believe this thing was made in 1994. It just shows, like, basically how well Roland had a grip, you know, on the electronic drum concept, even early on. You know, they are still probably the top manufacturer for electronic drums, and like, this is the first Roland module that I've ever had, and it's 26 years old, and it's really, really good. I'm, like, super impressed with this thing. Not only does it sound great, it works so well with all the triggers I have here. Everything expresses itself very well. When you're playing, it's very realistic feeling and sounding. But anyway, let me just go over some of the specs of the module itself. Now, this module is a 16-bit module, which means it's like basically CD quality sound. Though I will say that it sounds like, to save space on the storage that was available at the time, they used some type of compression or something on the files themselves, because they have this kind of, like, you know, at the end, you'll hear it when I'm playing it, but, like, basically at the end of when you hit a drum, there's like this crunchiness to it. But it actually sounds pretty cool. I actually kind of really like that. To me, it's a quality, not a, you know, something that makes it sound bad. Some people might be like, oh, what's that? But to me, it actually sounds really interesting. You don't really notice it in music so much. But anyway, it also has 8 quarter-inch inputs in the back. But each one of those inputs is dual zone, so it gives you a total of 16 inputs. However, the dual zone trigger inputs are a little bit different than modern dual zone trigger inputs. For example, I have a dual zone trigger on my snare drum here, but it does not work in the module itself. However, this ride that I have, which is an older VISU-LITE ride, which is dual zone, it does work in the module, and the reason is, for that, the more modern approach to triggering, you know, dual zone snares is to have a piezo on the head and then one on the side of the drum too to pick up the rim. However, the older triggers, the older Roland triggers, had basically a piezo on the top and then a switch on the side that worked in conjunction with the piezo on the top. My dual zone snare that I have currently is 2 piezos, so it doesn't work with the module. However, my ride does work fine. So, you know, I wanted to, basically, I was just buying this as an experiment to see how it would work, but I have quickly fell in love with this thing. I think it sounds really nice. It makes playing these drums an absolute pleasure, and like I said, I just can't believe this thing is as old as it is. If you want to check them out, I'll post a link down below for Reverb that has some, you know, they come and go, but there's one on there at the moment of making this video for like 126 bucks. I got mine for 200, but I paid a little bit more because I wanted the box and the manual. The manual is very nice to have. It has a lot of features such as double trigger elimination, scan time, a lot of advanced stuff that something like an Alesis Nitro won't have. So using, you know, basically your own custom set with a module like this actually works really, really well, because it gives you a lot of customization options, even though there probably aren't as many samples in it as something like a Nitro, but the ones that are in here sound better. The hi-hats as well are absolutely amazing. The way that you can get so much different expression out of the hi-hat, I think again, it's incredibly impressive for being a module this old, but I'm using it with my Millennium MPS 850 hi-hat and then my Go eDrum hi-hat controller, and it works really, really well on this old module. So I'm just super impressed. You know, it may not be for everybody, and some of the sounds are a little bit dated sounding, you know, like some of the reverbs are pretty, you know, like 80s and 90s sounding, but for me, I love those sounds. So it actually works perfectly for what I do, because I'm a big fan of 1980s and 1990s drum sounds. So I love it, but you know, I understand that for some people it may not be the most ideal thing because maybe you want some more modern sounding drums or something like that. But for something like that, you could just use a VST plugin like Easy Drummer or something like that. And this module does have MIDI out. So basically here I have a audio interface sitting up here, which is an Alesis IO4 that has a MIDI input on it. And I can, if I want to, I could run out of the MIDI output, out of the Roland module into my interface here and have MIDI control to a VST plugin like Easy Drummer or something like that. So for me, creating this whole drum set has been a really, really great learning experience. Like now, if I were to do it all again, you know, I would know what to look for and how to do it to make it all work. But, you know, you kind of have to experiment a little bit or watch videos like this where somebody else is experimenting to where you can figure out, you know, what all this stuff is and how it actually works. Because electronic drums, let's face it, are way more complicated than acoustic drums. Acoustic drums, you set them up, you hit them, you're pretty much done. Electronic drums have a lot of, you know, variables and different brands and different types of triggers and different samples, and you know, it's an electronic instrument. It's going to be a lot more complicated than an acoustic drum is. But anyway, that's it. I mean, I just really, really like this thing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, thumbs up, and also that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload new content. Also, if you want to support what I do, you can stream my music on any of the streaming music services. Just search Demonic Sweaters on either Apple Music, Spotify, Google, or YouTube Music, or wherever you stream your music, Demonic Sweaters will be there. And my most current release is the Rock From Home single, and then my most current album is probably the Pan Demos, or I'm sorry, Driving Songs, and those are both EPs. But anyway, check that stuff out if you get a chance. You could also go to my record label, which is anthillrecordings.bandcamp.com. Anyway, thanks for watching everybody, and I'll see y'all really soon.